Thank you. Next question, we'll start with Mr. Daniels. Would you support an increase in taxes or fees to fund city government? And if so, which ones would you support increasing?
No.
No.
Any rebuttal, Mr. Daniels?
Our community is overtaxed. If anyone tells you that our per capita tax rate is lower than every other citizen or every other city in Decatur, ask them to pull out their real estate bill and show you the calculation that their house taxes are based on how many people live in their house. That's not the way it's done. It's calculated on the value of your home and the cost of the government service. Our tax rates are too high. They discourage people from living here. They discourage businesses from coming here. What we have to do is work very hard to set the right priorities for spending city government money. We have to work very hard with the other taxing districts that affect our tax bills to see if we can't find a way to work together to lower that burden. We have to be creative in finding new funds and new resources, and we have to get that tax burden down to competitive levels. We're not going to bring people to our community with jobs or their homes and families with the highest tax rates in central Illinois. It's time to put a stop to it. Elect me mayor and I'll start.
Mr. McCoy?
I would also like to have my taxes lowered, but I also know that we have a $120 million plus budget, and 8% of that goes to people, and those people are the ones that give us our services. And I disagree a little bit on the fact that we are so much higher. Again, I will go back and echo what Sheriff Dawson said. If you look at what the city has done, we do a lot with a very little amount of cash. We give great service because we've got great employees, we've got great leadership in the departments, but it is not the cost in many of the other places. There are other entities that do have higher taxes than many of the surrounding area with us. But we're talking about the Decatur tax, the city of Decatur, because that's what we can, in fact, have some control over.
Thank you. Our next question, we'll start with Mr. McElroy. Is there a need for additional police officers in the city of Decatur? And if so, how would you propose to pay for the additional expense?
I would say right now that once the chief was happy with the numbers that we have, I think that's really good. But I don't think there's anybody that's sitting in here that did not take what Sheriff Dawson said about the patrol that would be working when the most crime is happening. I would love to figure out a way to be able to put that patrol back out for the taxpayers, for the city, for the reputation of the city, and the safety of the city, and get that back in place. And I do remember when that was something that was done by the Decatur Police Department. I would very much like to do that, but as it stands, the chief seems to be happy where we are, so if he's happy, then I'm happy.
Thank you. Mr. Daniels?
Too many people in the city of Decatur don't feel safe in their homes. That's not the fault of our police. I think our police are doing the very best job they can with the resources they have. For 6 years or longer, we've run our police force short of staff by 10 officers. Now, since Change Decatur referendum, when many citizens spoke out about their discomfort with how our city was being run, the city council found the priority to staff up the police department, not only to full staff, but to actually overhire, something that had been talked about for years. Clearly, we need to maintain an adequate staffing. I'm not sure if we have the right police staff or not. I think the idea of a power shift is just common sense. However, what we need to understand is how are we doing servicing this community? We look at some crime statistics and we don't look at others. I think one of the first things we need to do is try to get our entire community, and particularly our city council, focused on the proper metrics to assess how we're doing in providing safety and protection to our citizens. Might we need more police? I'm not sure. I'm not qualified to assess that without some additional information. But I think we have to first look, do our citizens feel like they're being properly cared for and protected? And if not, we have to find the solutions to solve that problem.